One thing queer, one thing queer, one thing queer. Let's get one thing queer. Let's get one thing queer.
Hello and welcome to One Thing Queer. My name's Jenny Baton and my pronouns are they, them.
And I'm Kelsey Wren and my pronouns are she, her.
Hi, friends!
Hello!
We are back.
I know, oh my God.
We're back.
I love that we both like held our breath while you pressed the record button to make sure it was recording.
Yeah, the last time we recorded, we had a little mishap. And
It's traumatizing now.
we recorded a full-ass episode, but not really recorded it.
I'm so sad because it was so good, and I'm so sorry again that nobody got to hear it.
Me too.
But there was some in-depth thought in that one.
Especially about body hair.
I forgot about our 20-minute segment on
Body hair.
That's great.
That'll be another episode.
I'm sure it'll come back around.
How are you, friend?
I'm good. Oh man. I'm good. I'm okay.
I feel like we lived a whole lifetime since the last time we recorded.
It's been like a month for
It's
sure.
been like a month.
So we can recap and
Yeah.
what happened. So I think when we last left off in the last episode,
A lot has happened.
a lot has happened. Well, kind of. Yes and no.
For me, yeah.
Well,
I
yeah.
would say.
Well, for me, let's see. I got sick after you did. The COVID finally got me. I haven't had it this entire time.
You've dodged it this whole time.
I know, and I finally got it. It was not fun. My body was in a lot of pain, and luckily I was vaccinated also, because I'm sure it would have been 100 times worse.
Yeah.
If it was that bad while I was vaccinated, it was pretty bad. So I got sick on a Friday, and then Saturday I woke up and I looked at Bernie and he was getting ready for work, and I was like, it's COVID. I know it because it's exactly the way he described it when he got it.
Yeah.
My body hurt, my head hurt, everything hurt, but I wasn't nasally or throat sick yet. But then the next day it started to happen, and then it kind of switched. So it kind of left my body and then went straight to my nose.
Yeah.
And living in the city I live in, it's extremely windy and it destroys my sinuses. So everything's been really dry. So I probably sound really nasally still. And I have that I got the black lung pop, that little cough all the time now. So if I do that, I apologize, but it's just an impulse. It's trying to
Get out of your body.
Yeah, clear out your chest. It's not even my throat that hurts anymore. But that was 2 weeks ago, and I'm still trying to recover from it. It was pretty bad. And I missed a bunch of work, obviously, because I'm not going to go in when I have that, obviously. And I don't know how anybody could go in sick
Feeling
like
that
that.
way?
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah.
So that happened. And then, let's see, that took a week and a half of our month.
Yep.
And then we went to go see the Buttertones, which was really cool.
Yeah.
It was at the Chain Reaction. And I've been there as a teenager, and I've been with my brother, and I remember, I don't know if you've ever been there.
Yes.
Yeah, you have? Okay, so you know how there's the little wall divider, and you know how it's hella hot in there? So I remember being a kid on the outside of the divider, because I was younger, I was a teenager, and he was like, well, I don't want you to get squished, so you're gonna stay on this side.
Yeah.
And I remember sticking my hand through to the other side over the wall, and the temperature difference was 20 degrees hotter. It was the most disgusting thing, and I have a distinct memory. And it's funny because we drove up, and the parking kind of sucks because if you don't get there early, you have to park on the street or whatever. So we drive past it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the Chain Reaction? I literally have dreams about that place all the time, but I can never see the name of the place.
Yeah.
And it's so weird that I couldn't remember that that's what that place was. So it was it felt like I was in a dream a little bit. It was really weird, but it was fun to see them. It was cool. They've had some controversy, so it was nice to see that they changed up the lineup and got rid of the terrible people that were in their band. So yeah, it was good. It's one of Bernie's favorite bands, and I got him we got a poster and a vinyl. It was really fun.
Very cool.
Yeah, and then we had Thanksgiving. It's kind of what else happened next, I guess. I don't know. In between, I've just been working and watching TV.
Yeah.
So that was fun. We just kind of small and had Bernie's mom over, and
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very chill vibes.
chill vibes. Yeah, we ate in the bar, which was fun because we never got to do that before.
What?
Yeah,
You
so-
didn't tell me that.
Yeah, so it was cool. So Bernie made big old fancy drinks to have with our dinner. So
That's so cool.
yeah, that was fun. So yeah, kind of
Very
all
nice.
that's happened. What have you been up
Okay.
to?
Well, I left to Mexico.
Oh yeah. We barely even got to talk about that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I ended up going to Mexico for like 4 days. And so I went with my dad, my niece, my nephew, and my brother. And it was like a whole fucking journey because we went through CBX. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's kind of like, it's in the border of Mexico, or it's in the border of San Diego and Mexico. So it's kind of like a bridge that you take into the Tijuana airport. So, but it's like a whole process, and like you have to pay because it's like you basically save the time crossing the border, like back home. Basically, you don't have to wait in that line. So yeah, so you could just go through there. But it was so much harder, and honestly, and a lot of people use it because it's like it's a little cheaper supposedly, but it's really not. Especially if you're going with like a lot of people. And so it was the whole thing. We get there, and like because my niece's mom, my sister, wasn't coming. They gave us issues. They were like, oh, she's underage. So, like, we need permission from her actual parents. So, we called my sister. It was like 2 a.m. because we took a red eye. And she had to, like, write down a letter.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, oh, I give permission to my sister, blah, 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 to me or whatever, to be the guardian or whatever. So that was the whole thing. We almost like missed our flight because of it.
Gosh.
It was like a whole nightmare. So then we get to Mexico, and as soon as we land, my niece doesn't feel good. And so, yeah, so I was like, I felt bad. So I was taking care of her that night. Even though she wasn't feeling that well, we went to this like artisan place kind of like an hour away from where my grandma lives, and like they just make a bunch of crafts, and they make like jewelry and stuff like that, and I wanted to take my niece and nephew there. So we went together, and my brother came with us and my little cousin, and yeah, so then we get back to my grandma's, and my niece is just like, she has a fever and she's just not feeling good. So I was just taking care of her the whole time. And that was on Friday. And then on Sunday, we had this little barbecue. And on Sunday, I had taken a COVID test, a PCR test, because I had work on Tuesday. And that required me to take a COVID test to go into work. So Sunday night, after my uncle had made a barbecue, I went back to my grandma's and I started to feel sick. And so I just went to bed, and the next morning I was dying. Like, it was just, I had body aches, I had chills, I had a fever, my throat was hurting, I had a cough, I had chest congestion, sinus congestion, basically like, and like phlegm, like, and I had trouble breathing. And so my aunt's like, let's take you to the doctor. And we were leaving that day, or we were coming back that Monday. But this was early in the morning. So I went to the doctor, and he like checks me out, and he's like, you have an infection. So he prescribed steroids and antibiotic. And so, yeah, I had to like travel in the midst of like feeling like shit. And yeah, I ended up missing work because I just felt like complete shit for like three or 4 days, pretty much like a week. And then I started to feel better. So that's like one of the reasons. Like, I got sick first, and then you got sick.
You were the first sick week, and then I was the next sick week.
Yes.
And then it was like Thanksgiving was in the way. Like, it was a lot.
Whole thing. It was a whole thing for both of us.
really
we were going
was.
through it.
It really was.
But yeah, it wasn't COVID. I had RSV, or what is it called?
I think it's RSV.
Yeah, RSV.
Wow.
So yeah, it turned out that's what I had. But the antibiotic really helped.
That's good.
So I know in Mexico and here, like, you know, medical stuff is different, but over there they have like antiviral medication, and they have like I basically, the steroid was like an antihistamine with a steroid.
Oh, okay.
So that really helped.
That's good. Wow.
But yeah, I got out of it, and then I don't know. I was kind of like, I think when you get sick, you kind of get like a little sad. So I was just kind of like in a black hole, basically. Yeah.
You know what's funny is like it's not funny, but like we do the thing always where it's like, because you were like, hey, are you home? And I was like, yeah. And then you FaceTime me and I was like, oh my God, like we haven't got to talk in so long.
Yeah.
And like, but we already knew like how we were kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like it's always that thing where like I'm sad, but it's not always just my sadness. Like it feels double time because I know that you're not okay also.
Yeah.
And that's how it felt.
We're very interconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you called, I was like, how do you know? Like, I don't know. I know you know, but I was just like, that was like exactly what I needed at that time.
Me too.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, thank God you reached out. Like,
Yeah.
I was home, wasn't doing anything. And I was like, yes, Bernie was doing something. So I was like, oh, I totally have time to talk. Like,
Yeah.
let's talk. And
Yeah.
it was just, it's exactly the right moment.
I just like felt it because I ended up FaceTiming you
Mm-hmm.
and I just like felt, I don't, well, first of all, I had missed you
Yeah.
because like I hadn't seen you. And I felt very lonely and like
Same.
you are my best friend and I don't really have many friends I could call friends,
Mm-hmm.
especially to this level. Like you are my family. And so like there's many times where I need someone to talk to and I know I can call you, but I don't do it because that's just not something natural to me. Like it's really hard for me to like be like, hey, I'm having a shitty day, I need to talk to someone. It's really hard for me to do that, but
I mean, I 100% feel it because I also was not feeling good, and I was
Yeah.
kind of like, but I'm like, oh, like I don't want to like it's that I don't want to bug thing,
Yeah,
like because
same.
we've been told our whole lives we're bugs, like so I don't want to bug, but like I know I'm not bugging, and I know you wouldn't think of me that way, but it's also like I know you're also busy too, and I know you know I'm also busy too, so it's like we also have like you know there's other things we have partners also to take care of, like it's not a bug, but it's still like that thing that you're like, oh, I don't want to be a bug, but
exactly.
like we both tell each other all the time you're not a bug.
No, I told you. Like, you can call me whenever.
But it still feels that way sometimes. So
I know. But that day, I just was like, I miss my friend. I'm going to call my friend. And that's that.
You read my mind.
Yeah.
It was perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of got out of it. The day that I called you, I had started feeling better. So I was like hoping, you know, that would help too.
Yeah. It kind of like cycles through. Like even with like even our like menstrual cycles are like that too. It's you then me then you then me, and like we kind of just keep rotating like
We're in like this like
like a moon phase almost.
yes, exactly. We're in like a vortex of like our energy.
Yeah.
And it's very in sync and it's so fucking weird. It's weird, but it's kind of cool.
It is cool.
Because it's nice to feel like you're not alone.
Yeah, that's it too. Is also too like getting sick. You feel lonely also because you don't want to bother. Like you don't want to get anybody else sick. Obviously, I mean, if you're a decent human, you don't.
Yeah.
And you don't really want to interact, and you're just too exhausted and too like it's in too much pain to do it. So
Absolutely.
it's like like it was all of that, and it was just getting over it. And like I don't know, I'm like full. I don't know. Not full disclosure because there's no disclosure, but I'm like just like struggling with like life right now. Everything seems really frustrating, and like I'm at that point in life where it doesn't feel like it's going the way I thought it would. So it's I don't know. It's just working through that, I guess, and like trying to ride the wave. And right now we're at a low wave, and trying to get back up on the high wave is what's kind of that's what's been going on. Also, is it's just kind of like I don't really feel like. I don't feel like myself. I don't feel very Cappy right now. I feel like Bernie and I had this discussion last night about so like my moon sign's Gemini, right? So I was like, one of my Geminis is definitely a Capricorn. The other one can change from like moody to like a fire sign. Because like the other one's like when I'm like because I do have my Aries Mars, so I can be like impulsive and I can be fiery, and like that's where I get that from. That's where I get my like fuck you.
Yes. And that's your cap too.
Yeah, but it's more subtle. Like the
Internally, you're fucked.
oh yeah,
You.
yeah, exactly. So
That's a cap.
Exactly. But we were talking about it. Like one of my Geminis is definitely cap, but it feels like that cap is not present right now. Like I feel very not grounded. I feel very. I've been in my head a lot because I also when I'm sick I don't want to talk and like I don't want to expend that energy and like you know your throat hurts, your nose hurts. Like it makes everything harder when you're talking when you're sick.
Yeah.
So like having being in your head, especially my head, is like it's a lot of work.
No, I get that.
Yeah, totally. So that's what just like trying to get out of that funk, because it's definitely been a funk. And like I was kind of stuck there, and you called, and I was like, okay, because I couldn't get it out for a long time. Like, so getting it out was very like, I mean, and that makes me think that I'm like, I should go back to therapy.
Yeah, I've been thinking that too.
Yeah, I
So-
just got insurance. I'm like, maybe I should check and like see how much it is, because we live in America and it's expensive. And also, like, my old therapy was like $80 a session, which is
That's
bonkers.
insane.
It's insane.
It should not be like that.
Yeah, it was hella expensive. So maybe there'll be better options this time, I suppose.
Yeah.
So
I think people need to have more accessible therapy.
yeah, like that's half the reason I stopped, is because it was that much a session. And I was only seeing him every other week, and if I needed more intensive help, trying to pay that weekly, like that's
Insane.
out of control.
That's
like
so expensive.
that's like almost over $300 a month. Like that's crazy, and nobody has like that extra kind of
Like a
cash.
car payment.
Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
Oh my god.
yeah,
I
so-
feel like also being sick, it helps you. Yeah, like you are in your head a lot. So like there's a lot of self-reflection. At least for me, there has been a lot of self-reflection and like what I want to do with life. And yeah, a couple weeks ago I had a tarot reading, and I don't know this person. Like I just found her on TikTok and she was doing like paid readings, and I don't know. She just like, I just was drawn to her readings because she was very honest with the people that she was reading. So I was like, okay, I'm going to pay for it. And so I just asked her basically about my career. And it's like, I'm doing one thing in my career and I'm thinking of transitioning over to a different thing in my career. Am I doing the right thing? And that's all I told her. I didn't tell her what I did. I didn't tell her what I had planned. And so she did a reading for me, and one of the cards that came out from one of her decks was the Gaia card, which is the Earth card. And then there was like several other cards that basically equated to being a healer. And obviously, like, I believe in all this stuff, so, like, it very much resonated because I was talking about how, like, I'm a makeup artist, I'm self-employed, and I've been trying to apply for jobs during the holidays just because, you know, extra money. But I keep getting rejected for jobs, and so I was like, okay, like, what am I supposed to be doing? Because, like, nobody wants to hire me. I've been self-employed for 7 years. And so basically she just said, it seems like you're an entrepreneur and you are not meant to work for anyone. That's basically what she told me. She's like, it looks like you're trying to work for people. She's like, you're not meant to work for anyone. And then the real estate card came up, which she's like, it could mean a house, but it could also mean working from home. And that's essentially what I want to do. I want to have my practice working from home. And energy healing, like it kind of equated. And then she brought up this man. She's like, but there's a man in your life. She's like, there's this really annoying man, and he keeps like putting your process down, and he keeps like belittling what you were trying to do, and I was like, that's my fucking dad. Because she's like, she kept saying, this man is so fucking annoying. Like, he is so, like, negative and, like, basically describing my father. And so she's like, stop listening to him. She's like, fuck that guy. Like whoever this is, I don't know who this is, but he's annoying. And you need to stop listening to him. And basically she said, it's just going to take a process for you to transition over. She said, don't let go of the thing you're doing right now. It's going to take time for you to fully transition over. But what you are meant to do in this life is to heal. And you're meant to work with the earth. You are meant to work with herbs. You are meant to work in this field. She's like, I don't know what you're trying to do or what you do or whatever. And then I told her after she had told me everything. She's like, yep, that makes sense.
Oh,
So
very cool.
I had like confirmation. So I've been trying to like create more content on TikTok through my witchy page, Celestial Light Witch. and my objective is to get to 1,000 so I can start going live.
Yeah.
And building my little business.
We've been trying to do for our TikTok.
I know.
But we don't make content.
I know.
I know. It's just been too busy, obviously.
I know.
But sometimes I look at them and I'm like, man, we had so much fun
We
doing them.
did.
I know. I'm like, we need to like make time to do them.
We do.
For sure. We will.
100%.
We will. I know we say that, but we will.
But we will. Go follow us.
Yeah.
Shameless promo.
And they're all funny already on there. So
Yeah.
you can watch those.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I've been kind of,
Yeah.
thinking about.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I feel the changeover also, trying to figure out what's the
Right.
next step, I guess. And that's, it feels, I feel like every time I've ever had like a reading or anything, it's always like patience. And I really don't have that much patience.
It's your Mars. You're an Aries.
I'm just like, can we just do this now? Like can it just be now? I'm really tired. How much longer do I have to wait? I guess.
It's so interesting you say that because your Mars is in Aries and my Sun and Moon are in Aries, and I find myself to be very patient, and one of Aries' traits are impatience. But I think I'm pretty patient, wouldn't you say?
I think so. I think that is not your Aries though.
It's my Capricorn.
And it's your Cancer. Your
Oh,
Cancer Mars. Because, like,
Yeah.
we talk about this sometimes, too. Because we have some Aries friends, too. And we're like, but, like, Jenny's not like this. Like, because sometimes they'll be like, it's like the baby aspect a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jenny's not like this. And we were talking about maybe it's your Cancer that, like, really balances you out in that.
Maybe.
Because your Cancer, your Mars is also like your second sun sign almost. It's like your other half. And that makes, when I think about me, it makes 100% sense. When Bernie, same thing. Like, because I wouldn't always say I'm a fiery person, but I can get there if I need
Absolutely.
to. And that's that Mars. And even for like a Capricorn, I can be very impulsive.
You're a
and that-
fiery Earth sign.
Yeah, that's why I actually saw this funny TikTok that like Capricorn is the fire sign of earth signs, Scorpio is the fire sign of water signs,
Yep.
and like obviously Aries is fire sign, and the Gemini is the fire sign of air signs. So like all of
believe
my signs are fire signs of those signs.
I saw that TikTok.
Yeah, so like it just. Yeah, that's why I can be impulsive for a Capricorn sign, which is weird. Like, I don't know, but it's, I don't know.
I think you're right because Cancers, I have two close friends that are Cancers and I love them, but also Cancers, I love calling out Cancers, which is funny because like I'm a Cancer Mars.
Mine's rising.
I love calling out the toxicity of Cancers.
I feel that for sure.
Because like Cancers are some of like the best people, but they're also like some of the fucking scariest and most bratty people.
Yeah, and I feel that in I've told you before, like my Cancer rising, like I know that like my relationship with my dad is strained because I know that I tap into that to deal with him. Like how I manipulate sounds awful, but it's how I've learned to like deal with his emotions and like preemptively like make him not be a certain way as I do these certain things.
Yeah.
But that's my Cancer talking. That's like all that manipulating that way into like surviving life basically.
That's true because your Capricorn is more like choppy. Like,
Yeah.
More like, nope, done.
Yep.
Nope.
It's I'll cut you off in it like in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Like if I need to, like I'll drop you like you won't even know what hit you. Like it happens. It can happen, but it I think I give, especially as I'm older, I give myself a little bit more time to make that decision. When I was younger, it was one thing and you're gone because I just don't
Mars.
have it. It's an impulsive cutoff. And then sometimes I'm like, shit, I shouldn't have done that. Like I have it. It's actually really funny that I have this thing because I used to talk about it with my old boss. And we used to talk about that I'm very throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like I'm like, oh, we're all gone. And she was always like, well, no, we have to like do this and that, like almost too much giving the farm away basically. And I'm completely the opposite. So we always found a good balance in the middle, like a between both of our ideas on how to handle something.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no, fuck them, fire that customer. We don't need them. And she's like, wait, we can't do that.
Yeah.
So like it makes sense. Oh, God, I love when astrology comes back around and makes sense like that, and you're like, oh, that's why I do that.
Yeah.
Oh, very interesting.
That's been a common thing for me with my Cancer Mars. It's just because I think the older I get, the more wiser I feel. You know, I feel a lot more wiser, but I feel like that because Cancers can be either or. They can be a very wise sign, but when they tap into their like bratty side, it's like scary and like the manipulating and all of that.
I hate to keep
jazz.
using that word too. Yeah. But it's there's no other way to really put it.
Yeah.
And they also like, because I feel that a lot of times my mood changes quickly. That's the Cancer, because it changes as quickly as the moon phases. And it was funny. I was talking to Bernie and I talk about astrology literally all day long, all the time. Everybody's signs, every celebrity, every placement, all the time, always. Like that's what we talk about. So we were talking about it, and I was saying that like because we were talking about differences between like water moons and like how I have an air moon, and I was trying to explain like how my emotions, because your moon's your emotions obviously, and who you're comfortable with. So like that's why with me I can be like a Gemini around you, because I'm like we're comfortable. And I was saying that like with Gemini moons, like I was trying to explain to him that like it's not that how we feel emotions. It's I literally decide how I'm going to feel about those emotions.
You process emotions.
Yeah, I don't feel them. I decide how I'm going to feel them. So
you
like
analyze your emotions.
yes. So I had like one, like you could say the same thing to me on different days, and one day I'm going to be pissed about it, and the other day I'm going to let it go, because I'm going to decide whether or not I'm going to be upset about that or be happy about that. And I was trying to explain that. Because we always talk about, because with his Scorpio moon, it's all feelings, it's all emotions all the time, which is fine. But that's so like his is like a conundrum of the heart, like in his feelings, and mine is in my head, because I'm constantly thinking about how every little thing is going to make me quote unquote feel, which is funny too, because that's all my therapy was about.
Yeah.
Is him trying to teach me how to program my brain to like understand how we're feeling about things. It was literally like he knew I was a Gemini moon or something, and he was tailored it to that, even though he didn't believe in astrology. But it really, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like and it's sometimes things we talk about, like if I'm offended by something or something you do, I'm like, I can't tell you when I'm going to be offended, because it could change minutes. Like
I think with Gemini moons, from my partner's a Gemini moon, I feel like and then actually I think I also saw a TikTok about Gemini moons or air moons, but particularly Gemini moons. You kind of detach your emotions from your processing of what is happening. So it's like a part of you is feeling the emotion, but the stronger part of you is analyzing the emotion. So you're not like, you're in your head about your emotions rather than actually feeling in your body and like feeling the emotion. And it could be uncomfortable for you to actually feel an emotion because it's kind of scary.
Exactly. And it's that thing like, okay, so if you're like, this is an extreme example, but if you're at like a funeral, everyone else is crying. I'm not crying. Should I be crying? Yeah. Like, I don't feel that way though. And then you kind of think about it and you're like, okay, now I do feel that way, because it's also like a little sociopathic kind of, because I'm like, I'm not crying. I don't feel this. So what's wrong with me that I'm not crying at this moment? Or in reverse, there's times where like, to something will make me cry, and I'm like, no one else is crying, like what's wrong with me, that like, because I thought about it a certain way, and that made me cry. So yeah, that's it's been fun.
Like my Aries moon, just I don't even know what does that even mean. I don't even know what my Aries means, because half the time, like, yes, like, I'm all about being an Aries and so proud of it, but my Aries moon is just kind of like that is my true Aries. I feel like my Aries sun, I don't, like, every time I tell someone I'm an Aries, they never believe me. And I think it's because my Capricorn placements are so present. Yeah. I feel like I come off as a Capricorn when I'm not comfortable. Like,
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's part of the rising sign too, because I was talking to somebody else about it, and they were saying that like obviously your rising sign is in your first house. That's what like makes it that. But sometimes you have other signs in your first house, and that sign will overtake everything else because your first house is supposed to be like you and your like identity kind of. So like if you were to have another sign in your first house, that would take over a lot of the other signs. You would present as that most, even you would present as that most. And it's interesting because obviously our rising is in the first house. So for like, I'm a Cancer rising. I think I would come off as a Cancer a lot of times to people until
To me, no.
but that's because you know me.
Yeah,
Like,
I guess so. Yeah, like I don't see the Cancer ever.
no, it's
Ever.
very specific.
It's very rare. And even when you do get emotional, I still don't see the Cancer.
Yeah, I think even I think the emotional with you is sentimental, and Capricorns can be sentimental, not emotional. It's
Absolutely.
it's different. So I think that's what you feel from me when we do like get close like that, like or like whenever I cry, it's because I'm sentimental, and like I know I'm sentimental at the fact that you're listening to me, and that's what the emotion is.
Yeah.
And or if it's like if I'm having a bad time or whatever. But
A lot of people don't realize how tender Capricorns are inside, because they have such a like thick
our walls are very
epidermis.
Yeah.
Like such a
Yeah.
like such a thick like
shell?
dense shell.
Yeah.
But as soon as you break that shell, it is like the most tender, sweet, like most vulnerable type of people that like internally,
Yeah.
like
I think it's the sentimental. Because we're suckers for like that kind of stuff. Like the like meaningful stuff. Like I'm a sucker for that stuff like all the time. Like you, like Bernie will do like the littlest thing, and he'll like if we have two pieces of something, piece of cookie, whatever, he'll give me like the better looking one, or he'll make dinner and give me the better looking plate. Like to me that means like that's something. And he's like, well, that's an obvious. I can't believe any man would like do that. Like, would like, I know your face. It happens. He's seen it happen. And he'll be like, dude, you just gave your girlfriend like the shitty piece. What's wrong with you? Like, but like to me, that's like a little thing that like, oh, like you care about like how I'm taken care of in that way. And that's sentimental. And I think for a lot of people too, they don't realize that like, you only get that from a Capricorn when they trust you.
Yeah.
When you've shown that you're worthy of it, which sounds bad, but you only get that when you've reached that level with them. That's not for everybody with them. Like that doesn't work that way.
but that's what I don't know, to me that's what means the most. I don't know.
No, I feel it. I feel you. Yeah, because it's I don't know. It's hard. Like we were talking about that too. Like who in our lives are like, if you look at that person and people and you're like, oh, that's like a textbook Gemini. We were kind of trying to think of like people like my mom is a textbook Capricorn. Like that's who I've known her as always, like the hardworking, like, she's kind of rough on the outside. Love you, Mom. But she can be sentimental.
Yeah.
But that's not for everybody. She's not sentimental with everybody.
Yeah.
It takes time to get there. Like, so I don't know, we just talked about that. And he was talking about if I feel like I am, but I said no. I feel like I'm pretty 50-50 Capricorn and Gemini for sure. I think so. And
I do too.
Yeah, I think so. And for him, he's definitely 50-50 Sag and Scorpio for sure. Yeah. And you, my friend, are an Aries.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, I think if I were to think of an Aries, it's you.
Yeah, because you see, I mean, there's no filter, like, so you see my playful, like, me being a baby,
Yes.
like my little playful side.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the outside world, I'm most definitely a Capricorn, and I identify as a Capricorn like crazy when I'm in an environment where I do not feel safe, I guess.
Yeah.
Or like just am not comfortable to like being myself.
Yeah. What's the walls for sure? Because you want to protect yourself, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's like, but it's kind of like tumultuous because I feel like it's so 50-50 because my Aries is so open and so like I don't give a fuck. But then my Capricorn's like I do. Like I do give a fuck. Like it has to be like this.
Yeah.
But then my Aries is like it's fine. And then my Capricorn's like no, it's not fucking fine, you fucking idiot.
Oh my God.
That's how I feel. Like it's always like a battle. And then my Cancer's like stop. You know?
There's a way we can both win.
Yes. I'm just like, I can't.
I feel that though. Yeah, I feel that. My cousin has described it once that like the Gemini, like my Capricorn's need for perfection, but my Gemini defines what perfection means that day. So my Capricorn's like, okay, or my Gemini's like, today perfection means lazy or sitting on the couch. And my Cap's like, cool, we got this.
Yeah.
And another time it's like, you need to run a Fortune 500 company. And my Capricorn's like, how the fuck are we going to do that? But we're going to do it. Like,
Yes.
It really depends on the day.
For me, my Capricorn is, or all my 3 or 4 cap placements are like my alter ego. It's like my bitch. Like, I love tapping into like my.
I think that's also your Aries.
I feel like my Aries is more like. I think the Aries taps into like the overconfidentness, but my Capricorn is more of like I have my shit together. Let me portray that I have my shit together and fuck y'all.
Your Aries is the confidence and your Capricorn's like, I'll back you up, bitch.
I just feel like a badass like when I tap into my Capricorn energy because I feel like nothing can stop me and
Yeah.
I'm scary and I kind of like feeling scary.
Yeah.
Because my Aries like is not scary at all in my opinion.
I'm sorry, you're right. Your Aries is not scary.
No, it's not. So that's why I love tapping into my Capricorn because it's like, that's my scary side. That's
Yeah.
my bitchy side.
I have to pull it back because if I let that Capricorn go all the time,
I fucking love it.
I will like I'll hurt you. I'll hurt people. Like I really have to tone it back. Like there's a lot of times where I'm like, ooh, I said that kind of harsh. My bad. Like,
I want to see this side of you though. Not on me, obviously, but like on someone, like a stranger. I want to see you transform.
it's like it's even my eyeballs are like, it's funny because there's one kid at work where like we'll do like staring contests and he'll be like, you're good, like you don't blink, and I'm like, it's my years of resting bitch face. I'm like, you don't want me to like take it further. We're joking, but like, yeah, I don't know. I have to tone it back because I know that it can come off too harsh, and people like, then my like, I don't know, whatever that is, I don't know if it's my Cancer or whatever placement is like, oh, I'm sorry, I feel bad, my bad. I didn't mean to say that when I was angry.
I think my Cancer Mars likes it. It's like, yeah. It's like, I don't know. I fucking love it.
Yeah.
I love having RBF.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's I think mine too, because my face, my facial, how I'm feeling is written all over my face. I have absolutely no poker face.
Nope.
So if I don't like you, it is written all over my face.
Yep.
And I'm sorry for anybody out there who's experienced that, because I cannot control it. And it's just, I just don't like, it's not even being fake. I don't like just
Pretending.
pretending. Like it just like, and I feel like, okay, if I don't kind of like you, you probably don't like me. I don't expect you to pretend with me, and I'm not going to pretend with you.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, I can be cordial and say like, hello, good morning, things like that, whatever. Goodbye, have a nice day. But it doesn't have to be anything more than that.
Exactly.
I can still be an adult and like be civil.
Same.
Like, I'm like, I don't like you. You must not like me. Can we just not? Like,
Yep. I feel you, friend.
and it's written all over my face.
Yeah. I just like have no energy to pretend.
Yeah.
I really don't. Like when something's just not genuine, I just don't.
Same.
I can't.
Yeah, I had to
Exhausting.
I had to explain that to somebody too recently, that like, because I was teasing them and I was like, teasing means I like you. It sounds awful, but like that's how my like love language is if I'm joking with you, I like you. Like, because a lot of times even like growing up, if a friend would come over, or even when Bernie came over for the first time, he'd be like, they're teasing me a lot. I'm like, you want them to tease you. My family's very much like that. If they're not teasing you or talking to you, they do not like you. None of them do.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. like it's very obvious. If I don't like you, I will not talk to you. Like, and not like I go spans without talking to people. That doesn't mean anything. But I mean, like, in your presence, I won't talk to you.
Yeah.
That means I don't like you.
Yeah.
Like, and it just is. Same thing with my family. And I would tell them, like, you want them to tease you. That sounds awful, but you do. Like, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like playful.
Yeah, because I'm like, that means I've pulled down the Capricorn a little bit, and you're seeing like the playful Gemini who's gonna like make fun and jokes, and I'm joking with you. Like,
Yes.
that means I care to like put in the effort and energy with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise, if I don't, like, Capricorn's like, guards are up, walls are up, and you're not getting, you're getting like, how are you, and that's it.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like our friendship compatibility stems like primarily from our moon signs because Geminis and Aries are compatible, like because we're kind of the same.
Yeah.
Like we're kind of the same in a different way.
Well, that and our Capricorns, it's
And our
it's like
Capricorns,
a
mutual
mix
understanding. And your Mars.
Yeah, a mix of both. I think, yeah, our Aries and Gemini gets along, and our Capricorn makes the understanding happen.
And then our my Cancer Mars, maybe with your Cancer rising.
Yeah, maybe. And I think the Capricorn gives us both a sense of like, because I know you feel this too, is like, listen, we're honest with each other, and like, we're a team, and like, we're here to like do what we want to do, and we have a lot of the same goals. So I think that makes us like, because I know for you also, same thing for me, it's hard to put 100% into something when you don't know if that other person is also 100% with you.
Absolutely.
But I think we both know that we're both in like 100%. And like, that makes it comforting. So where you want to give your extra 20% because you're like, oh, okay.
You feel inspired by the other person.
Exactly. And you're like, you got my back. Also, I'm not just like out here doing this thing and you're like, wait, we weren't like, there's no second guessing it.
Friend, and it's so hard to find that. It's really hard to find that because
I feel ya.
Because I've done this before. I've done a podcast before and it didn't work out because I felt like I was putting all the effort in and like when you meet someone and you're vibing in the same frequency in the sense of like, you want this? Oh, I want this.
Yeah.
Okay, I want this too. Okay, let's fucking go. And I have that with you, and I have that with my friend Astrid, who I have a bridal business with her. And like literally this week, a couple days ago, we got together and like we were like, what are our objectives for this new year?
Dope.
And we're like, okay, like our goal is to try to get one wedding per like every week, next year, hopefully, and get like a wedding every like one Saturday every week or a Friday or whatever. That way we can alleviate our weekday and like fill it up with the things that we actually want to do.
It's amazing.
And so like we set those things in order, we set our ducks in order, and like we both wanted it. So then we like literally like bit the bullet and we booked what's it called? A booth at a bridal expo.
Oh, awesome.
In March. And we're like, we're fucking doing this
That's
finally.
awesome.
And like you need in partnerships, you need that like mutual thing. And then like also like somebody who pushes you, someone who inspires you, someone who gives you hope, or that has the same hope that you do.
100%.
And I think that's what has gotten us to 50 something episodes.
Yeah.
Over a year later, like here we are. And we've had our days, off or weeks off or whatnot, but we have still been persistent and like we make an effort every week. Like we bend over and backwards to make this happen and to make the time to like produce this because it takes time and energy.
Definitely. We had that conversation too about what we want to do in the new year also. Like that feeling is so, because there's not many people who have your back in this life, and that feeling is so good. Like, it's the same thing, like, so we have that, and also, like, the reason Bernie and I work is because we have that. There's, like, I know he has my back. He knows I have his back, and, like, there's never a point where I'm like, hey, I want to move forward and do this, and he's like, no way. Like, that, there's no stagnation. It's the same thing. Like, it's like doing a group project where you do all the work. Like, that sucks. Like, nobody wants to do that.
Yeah.
You need, like, somebody to help you do the work and also, like, give the same amount of effort in because nobody wants to give all their effort when somebody else doesn't do that. Like, that's how things don't work.
Yep.
It's exactly the recipe for it to not work.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm excited for for us planning and stuff. So
Me too.
I know it'll be fun.
Because like we love doing this for us.
Yeah.
Not only just for us, but for all of you who listen.
Yeah.
Like the amount of gratitude we have for each and every single one of you listening all over the world, because there's listeners all over the world listening to us, and it's crazy to think that. But we really want to grow this. We really want to expand and like get to more people, because if I would have found a podcast like this where I heard people that I related to, it would have helped me so much during my process. Even if it was before I came out, even if I decided to never come out, just having that like mutual like I've been there too, or I've felt this way too, and just like hearing all different perspectives of all walks of life in the queer community, and people that support our community. Just listening to that is very inspiring, and like we want to grow this, we want to expand and get to more of you, and we really appreciate every single one of you who share us and listen and have supported us from the very beginning. It's meant the world, and you make us want to keep doing it. And we definitely have plans to like expand in the sense of like we want to do merch eventually, and like eventually do sponsored stuff so that we can at least sustain ourselves with putting in the time to do this, because we don't make any money from this. We're in the negative when it comes to that. We've just invested, we invest time, we invested in our equipment, we invest in like editing, and like just it takes time to do this. So the best thing you can do is just like and share.
And I think for both of us too, we want to put something out there. Like, we want it to be out there, we want it to be helpful in any way, even if it's just us talking about listening to us silly talk about astrology, like or like TV shows. Like, that's it. I never would have thought like I would care if people heard what I said. But it feels that like, oh, like I want them to hear this, like or like I want people to hear it, and it makes me sad when we take a break, obviously, but things happen. But that's more because I'm like, oh, like, I mean, not like we're some huge thing, but I'm like, they miss us. I know they miss us.
I would miss us. I miss us.
I miss us too.
I miss, because I mean, I'm not even gonna be ashamed. I listen to our podcast.
Yeah, me too.
Because, like I like to, on Tuesday, like when it comes out, I do like to listen, even though I edit it, even though like I already listened to it. Half the time I'm like, oh fuck, like I forgot we talked about this, even though I edited it yesterday. Like I enjoy listening to it.
It's fun to see the finished product at the end too. And I listen to it and I'm like, oh, okay, and I like laugh at all the same things because apparently I find us hilarious. It's so much fun. But I don't know, I want to do big things with it, and I think we both do, and that's the key, is that we both wanting it is like 90% of the game. Trouble? I don't know.
I get you.
Insert word here.
Yes, I get what you're saying.
But I don't know.
I guess on that note, we'll do socials.
Sure.
But before that, I'm gonna do the shooting the shit sound. Just because this whole episode was just shooting the shit.
Shooting the shit, astrology talk. I know. I was gonna ask you. Should I ask you about Love Is Blind?
Oh yeah.
Do we want to talk about it?
Sure.
So I finally watched Love Is Blind. I need to get it out because we need to talk about this a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna forget next week, and we're gonna have a topic, and it's gonna be a thing. Okay. So you finished Love Is Blind. All those spoiler alerts, whatever. Season 3.
Yes.
What do you think of the Oranges Cuties thing with Zainab and Cole?
I think that he I don't know. I don't like that people were giving Senna shit for it. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people like on either corner. I think sometimes in situations like that, it's like you take things, with your emotions, like with what you're going through and stuff. Maybe like you feel like somebody said something in a particular way. So I don't think that she was lying about the situation at all. Like, I feel like she genuinely like said what she felt in that moment and like what she felt like he was trying to say. And I also like, I don't like Cole at all.
Yeah,
at
gross.
all. He's so annoying.
Yeah,
but
extremely.
But yeah, I don't think he even like thought too much about it. But he had already talked about her body previously before that, and I hate that. Honestly, I'm gonna say how it is, like how racist, like his family seemed, like as far as like what they said, and it just kind of reflects on him too, like. Because he's like, oh, I usually don't go for brown girls, basically, like he said, without saying it. So I don't know. I feel like she dodged a fucking bullet.
Same.
All the men were trash. And then did you hear about SK too?
I did. And I was like, ugh, I wanted them to work. So I'm like, ugh, of course he's trash. Of course.
Okay, Bernie, don't get mad at me. But I'm sorry. I knew it from the beginning. I'm like, this fool is not loyal. I knew it. I fucking knew it from the beginning.
Wait, why offense to Bernie? Because men are trash?
No, because he's a Scorpio.
Oh.
And
is that what SK is?
SK is a Scorpio. And that,
he's
like,
a Scorpio, not a Scorpio moon.
No. He's a Scorpio.
Okay.
He's a Scorpio sun and moon, I think. He's sun and moon.
Interesting.
So yeah, I looked up what he was like before all of this shit went down, and I'm like, I don't trust this fool. And then when he said no to her at the altar, I was like, that's a little fishy to me. That's a little like, and sure enough. And then people were like talking about him, and I'm like, y'all were all talking shit to Raven. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna go for my fellow Aries. And I knew they weren't gonna work out because Aries and Scorpio just don't work. I just like, I'm sorry, but that shit don't. And then she's a Cap Moon.
Yeah.
No.
She is a Cat Moon. Okay.
She's a Cap Moon.
I remember.
I was like, this shit's not gonna work. She's like, get off me, and he's like, I don't know, just Scorpio. I'm like, I knew this fool wasn't loyal.
I'm dead. So I started watching it, and Bernie was like, this, like, same thing, like, what are you watching? What is this? Like, and then, like, by, like, episode 4, he's watching every episode with it. He's like, what? She's with him? Like, it was hilarious. So, yeah, I felt the same way about the Cole situation, but it was funny. Okay, not funny, but I guess it's like a big thing. I had no idea. So my friend was telling me that, like, oh, check out like the comments and stuff. Like, people think it's like out of proportion. Like she's she's crazy basically. And I'm like, how did anybody watch that and think anything other than this guy's trash? Because like, how would you ever, like, as soon as you comment on what I'm eating, get the fuck out of here. Like, don't make comments.
Done.
Like, nothing. Don't say anything. It's none of your business. And she wasn't even like big. Even if she was, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
She was hot. Like, she was the hottest one, in my opinion.
It doesn't, like,
and she's an Aries.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, like, him and Bartice, like, straight up, like, tell, like, oh, this person's 10 out of 10. Oh, you're a close second. Like, I could not believe that was also a really annoying storyline where they're like, I forget her name though.
Nancy.
Where like Nancy's supposed to be like this monster supposedly, but like, no, she was beautiful. And like, she was like, what they're like talking about, like she was like 800 pounds. Like, she wasn't, even if she was, who cares? Like, shut up. Like, it was really, I'm like, dude, like, I just, like,
we need a gay version of the show because I'm so sick and tired of, like, the man, women.
Yeah.
Like, it's so boring.
I was watching... Oh, sorry.
Can we get a gay one?
Yeah. Actually, I was watching season 1, and what is his name? I forgot his name. But he's bi. What was his name? Shoot. He's in the first season.
I don't remember.
And he like had a full-on fight with the girl because he came out to her after he like proposed and he's like, I have to tell her, and he came out to her and she like kind of was like, whoa, it like really took her back, and she kind of really reacted pretty bad, but at the same time she tried to make it right when she came back to talk to him, and he was like, no, basically like, fuck you, you don't accept me, blah blah blah. I forget his name. But yeah, there was one man so far. I haven't watched season 2 yet, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
I agree. Yeah. I could not believe that anybody saw that cutie scene And we're being vague because if you watched it, you watched it. If you didn't, you don't know what we're talking about, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
If you didn't watch that cutie scene and didn't think anything other than like shut up, stop commenting on what she's eating, like get out. Even that there's during the season the chicken scene where he's like playing around while they're cooking chicken.
Yeah.
Like, what are you, like 5? Like, dude. Like he's
a boy.
He kept calling her passive aggressive. I'm like,
Yeah.
because you're being annoying, you idiot.
Yeah.
I'm like, stop being a child. All she wants you to do is be an adult, and you're being a child. Like,
literally, like the Nerf gun
Yeah.
thing annoyed me too.
Ugh.
I was like, that is
I could never.
like, you don't play with that while you're cooking.
I don't know how she made it all the way to like the wedding.
I don't either.
That I would have been like, we're done, because that's I can't even.
I'm like, what did you see in it?
Yeah. Even that too. They talk about their like emotional connection. I'm like, where? You hate each other.
Yes. I never saw an emotional connection.
He hates how serious she is, and she hates how childish he is. Like the whole time. Anyways, I don't know. I had to get it out because we've been watching it. And we got like super invested. I knew SK was gonna say no though. So a game we've been playing too is before they like at the altar, I'm like, okay, he's gonna say no, she's gonna say yes, and like we playing that kind of game. So I was right most of the time though.
Yeah. No.
Because I'm like, you could tell, like, I'm like, he's like crying, but he's not crying out of happiness. He's about to like tell her no. Like I can see that off my. I don't know. It was wild though.
Apparently he was cheating.
Yeah, wild.
I don't know.
I mean, not shocking, but
No.
Annoying.
Especially not for me.
yeah.
Not shocking at all.
Yeah, but okay. That concludes Love is Blind talk. All right. So yeah, if you want to follow us on Instagram, that would be great. It's One Thing Queer, and my personal Instagram is SpexRayX.
And my personal Instagram is at Jenny Lynn Bouton. And if you guys are on TikTok and want to like follow my witchy page, it's at Celestial Light Witch. I'm also on Instagram, same name. And I also have a makeup page. I'm like a self promo over here. My makeup page is at Jenny Bouton.
And the podcast TikTok is One Thing Queer Podcast.
Yes. Stay tuned.
Yeah, and if you want to come on the show or know anybody who wants to come on the show, please email us at onethingqueer@gmail.com.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
We will see you next week.
Yes,
for sure.
we will. We will.
Don't worry. All right. Bye.
Bye. Music by Jacody Lamone. Produced by Kelsey Wren and Jenny Baton. Edited by Jenny Baton.